Alpha reports to Sid, letting him know that all that he said is valid and that she found makes reference to an old texts of what they accept is religion of Diablos. In the wake of biting the dust in a vehicle occurrence, Minoru Kajanu gets reawakened as the child of noble Kajanu, a blue blood living out in the boonies. He rapidly comprehends what is going on and feels there is enchantment in the air. The Kajanu family has been making dim knights, who can improve their capacities utilizing wizardry. The family has huge expectations for Claire Kajino, Sid's more established sister, who is very capable. Sid grows up remaining as a foundation character and causes No to notice him, but around evening time he emerges and battle criminals. Utilizing his sludge blade, he effectively kills the desperados and takes their gold and fortunes. He likewise tracks down an enclosure with some spoiling animal, understanding it's moved by that it's enchanted overburden. He brings interest in it and brings it back home, where he shoots it with sorcery and do different trials on it. Following a month, he at last figures out how to contain the enchanted overburden. The animal then gets back to its generally expected structure, a youthful, delightful mythical person. Thinking about what to do, Sid chooses to fake it. As the mythical person stirs, Sid states he broke her revile that has been placed on Legend's relatives. He shows her a fiction book around 3 legends who crushed Diablos and tells her it's really a genuine story, and in his perishing breath the evil presence put a revile on them. He then makes sense of that the religion of Diablos are plotting to resuscitate the devil. While a great many people had disregarded Diablos, Sid works in the shadows to stop the faction. He presents himself as Shadow, he who hides in the shadow and chases shadows. Sid inquires as to whether she would go along with him, and having lost everything, she concurs and makes sense of they need to track down additional Legends relatives and extend their association. Sid concurs and names their association Shadow Nursery and the young lady, Alpha. 3 years pass and Sid is presently 13 years of age. He rehearses with his sister and keeping in mind that he can overcome her effectively, he acts feeble and lets her lose him. Claire is currently 15 years of age, and at that age, the aristocrats begin going to the Midgar Foundation for dull nights. On the day, Claire needed to flight for the institute, she vanished and her room is a wreck. In those 3 years, Alpha had gathered more individuals for their association. Sid asks Beta where is Alpha, and Beta clarifies she is searching for piece of information for tracking down Claire. Beta makes sense of that Claire is reasonable still alive and was seized by a high-positioning part having a place with the clique of Diablos. The faction most likely accepts that Claire is one of the Legends relatives. Beta takes out a guide and states they have not many known hideaways, however don't be aware in which one they keep Claire. Sid makes a sludge blade and tosses it at the guide. He winds up missing the refuge, yet states they will track down his sister there. Beta then sorts out that the cryptograms are a feign and there is really a mysterious safe house at the area pointed by Sid. He then, at that point, advises her to contact the 7 shadows. At the safe house, Viscount Oil is holding Claire binded with enchantment-fixing chains. He remarks her dad showed her great on the most proficient method to battle, however Claire makes sense if she realized all by battling her sibling. Oil then inquires as to whether he mended her when she gave indications of ownership, however Claire denies it, expressing it is absolutely impossible that he can recuperate her. Oil takes note of that for good measure, they need to investigate her sibling as well. At that time, Claire breaks one of the chains and harms her right arm to free herself, letting him know she will kill him assuming they contact her sibling. Oil then, at that point, takes her out and a man comes illuminating him that there are interlopers. Oil's men are effortlessly sliced to pieces by the 7 shadows. Confronting them, Alpha states they are Shadow Nursery and their central goal is to obliterate the clique of Diablos. Oil thinks about how they know that name and its privileged insights. He goes after Alpha. However, she experiences no difficulties impeding his assaults and harms him, expressing she won't kill him until they find solutions from him. Seeing he is overpowered, Oil takes a pill that support his sorcery. He figures out how to drive away Alpha and afterwards splits the floor and takes off. Alpha lets the young ladies know there is compelling reason need to pursue him as Shadow is after him, which is the reason they split up. In the meantime, Shadow is lost and doesn't have any idea where the young ladies went. While strolling around the passages, he experiences Oil. He goes after Shadow, who effectively obstructs his assault. Shadow then notices that he has more wizardry power than Alpha, yet doesn't have any idea how to utilize it. He chooses to give him a few illustrations and blocks his assaults. As he is finished, Shadow then, at that point, assaults Oil and starts cutting him, making Oil keep thinking about whether he at any point was that overpowered in fight. Oil lets him know regardless of areas of strength for how is, the murkiness on the planet is a lot further, yet Shadow states he will simply plunge further. Oil takes more pills and buffs himself significantly more, needing to show Shadow that individuals are useless, delicate and frail. Shadow figures out how to hinder his assaults and afterward utilizing enormous measure of wizardry, he chops down Oil. As Oil falls, he notes he was frail against the obscurity, however perhaps not Shadow. The following day, Claire gets back feeling terrible. Her injuries mend for the time being and she flights for the Foundation. Sid is anxious to go to the Foundation himself, however on the off chance that fine as he has 2 additional years and necessities to give the young lady some work. Be that as it may, Alpha lets him know it's time they leave him, which leaves him stunned.